Hey guys, on today's TCA Crossroads podcast, we are talking about the benefits for an angel investor to join an angel investment group like Tech Coast Angels. I am joined by the president of TCA Orange County, Lisa Walker, and I can't wait to talk to her about all of these amazing topics. So stay tuned for the whole episode. Here we go. All right. Hey, Lisa. How are you today?
Hey, Costin. I'm great. How are you?
I am good. We're recording this on a Monday. So, Mondays are usually, get a case of the Mondays. I will say I've also been trying to get off caffeine. And if anyone's done that, it is not fun. Not fun.
Not worth it either. Just like, whatever. It's not the worst thing.
This is
everything in moderation, right? A little bit goes a long way.
I was getting to about 2 cups a day, where also my second cup was a can of Celsius, which is about 200 milligrams, which is the equivalent of 1 cup of coffee. So
you might have gone overboard there.
Yeah. Just as the fun fact, how many cups a day do you drink, Lisa?
Well, what size cup are we talking about? So like usually one. I have one. I might have like another half, and then I'm just good. I don't want any more after that.
There you go. Like you said, all things in moderation. All right. Yeah. Well, I think we have a pretty interesting topic today. Really, our audience, I think, for today are folks who are doing some angel investing. They're out there maybe putting some funds to work in some deals, but they're doing it on their own. They're not part of a group like TCA. So I thought it would be pretty interesting to talk about, like, why should somebody in that situation consider joining a group like TCA? So why don't you lead us off? I know you've been talking about this a little bit at some association meetings. So why do you think, Lisa, what are some of the benefits?
Well, first of all, it is something that you just, in my opinion, is you shouldn't go alone. Walking through the alley at night, you shouldn't go alone. And the reason for that is we look at so many different types of companies. You can't have expertise in all the different types of startups and everything that's happening that's new. There's no way to have expertise across all of the deal flow that we see. And so it just really helps to have other people in your group who have specific expertise in the particular technology or market space that you're looking at, because you just can't be that much of an expert in everything. So the expertise that comes through in the screenings and then also in the due diligence process is huge.
Yeah, that makes sense, especially if you're looking at all kinds of different deals. You had some numbers, right? Like you had some numbers as to just the vast amount of deals that TCA's seen and worked with. Yeah.
So the second the second important thing is diversification. So in addition to leveraging the expertise of the group, you want to be in as many deals as possible. So just as an example, TCA, I was just looking up some of the numbers. Out of the history of TCA, which is about 25 years, 8 of the 245 companies that we've invested in have produced 77% of our returns. So how are you, if you're not diversified and you're not, so if you're trying to do this by yourself, there's no way you're going to invest in 245 companies to find those 8. So how do you make sure that you found those 8? And one of the important ways is, particularly with a group, is we have a fund, right? The TCA has a fund. Most angel groups, or many of them, have funds, and that's the easiest way to get that diversification. And you don't have to invest a ton. You're leveraging everybody else's expertise and just getting the volume that you need in order to have success.
And I get this feeling that if you're going at it alone, you're probably sticking to some of the topics that you're familiar with. So maybe if you're in medicine, you're doing medical deals.
Yeah.
If you're
Yeah.
in software, you're doing software deals. You're not actually getting a whole lot of variety in your deal flow either.
Yeah, and that's not a bad approach actually. That's sort of in my public market investing. That's mostly the way I do it. I just invest in it's mostly tech stuff because that's what I know about. But
Yeah.
and a few other things sprinkled in for diversification. Um, it's that methodology works okay in public markets because all the diligence has already been done. These are public companies. They get audited. There's a lot of sort of ongoing diligence or public scrutiny. With
Right.
angel, with startups, it's with private companies, it's not the same. So it doesn't, that methodology doesn't work as well in angel investing.
Yeah, and the risk profile as a lone angel investor, maybe you hear about it, something from a buddy, you hear about something from,
Right.
you get a PPM, you get something, you don't have a sounding board to run this opportunity by, whereas
Right.
a group like TCA has a pretty structured process for vetting every single company, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right. We have a pretty robust deal flow. That's another thing, right? As an individual, you're not going to have time to have to look at the have a funnel that's as wide as we have with our deal flow. So we look at hundreds and hundreds of companies, and our funnel is such that we have an application review. So companies go to our website and they fill out an application. And then we have a pre-screening committee that looks through once the application stage that those get looked at by a small group of people, myself and a couple others. And then there's a pre-screen group that comes in that is whoever wants to come, basically a smaller group. And then once they pass that, then they go to the full membership for screening. So there's a lot of filters along the way, even for things that the companies that get in front of us for a full screening. It's a small percentage of the total applications that we see.
So it's really important that at this stage of companies, when they're so young and so early on, there's a high probability of failure, meaning total loss. So
Yeah.
compared to public markets, where you might lose 5, 10, 20%, at early stage, it could be 100%.
Yeah, actually, so that was another interesting way of looking at angel investing. Is you remember that movie Moneyball? Brad Pitt, was about baseball, right? So their whole premise was, okay, we don't have a budget to go buy big stars, so we're gonna make every at bat count. So meaning, instead of the likelihood of swinging for the fences. And being successful, if you think you're going to go in and just find those 8 companies, it's not going to happen. You might find one just by pure luck. But the failure rate is such that we so 50% of the companies we fund fail, 100% just shut down, failure. 20% return the original investment. Another 20% return a profit of 2 to 3x, which is it's okay. It's not great, but that and then 9% return 10x or better in terms of profit. So it's it's a numbers game, and so that's why the diversity is important. Diversification is important.
So in general, a group like TCA does give the lone angel investor opportunity to invest in much broader types of deals. Gives them protections of a rigorous diligence process so that you really sniff out more of the failures. Because I would imagine if you don't have a rigorous process, you're going to get more than 50% failure rate. This is
I would think so.
This is failure rate with a rigorous process. And so those are all probably the financial benefits of joining a group like this. Now, how about like social benefits or any other tertiary benefits to the group?
Yeah, I mean that's a good point too. So I think while certainly the opportunity is there for financial benefit, most of the people that are in at least the groups I'm in are there because they're smart, successful people who've failed at retirement. and sometimes younger people like you. But they're not just there, to make more money. They're there because they enjoy the process. They enjoy the, hanging around with this group of smart, successful people. And they have a desire to help startups, right? To give back in terms of their time and expertise and guidance to the startups. So there's, that's the community, right? That's actually more why I joined TCA, is because I had sort of gotten away. I love tech. That was, my career, and I had gotten sort of away from it, and I missed it. Like I missed the energy of the startup community and those people, the people that are there. And so that's definitely a huge part of it is just, being involved in that community is it for me, it felt filled a huge gap that I had.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think the people are trying to help small companies. They're trying to help entrepreneurs. I really love that about the community in the TCA group. And that's why I joined, because I really wanted to see what else was happening in our OC startup community and give back. So that's another great benefit, I think, than going at it alone. You get surrounded with this camaraderie,
Definitely.
right?
Yeah, definitely.
We've talked about the deal flow, access to syndication, things like that. Are there any reasons not to join a group and maybe to go at it alone? Like, just to play a little devil's advocate here, so I'm not just pitching.
Yeah, honestly, I know I can't think of a lot except if like you just don't get along well with other people, or you don't, or you don't play well with others. I guess that would be a reason. Sometimes I think we do have a fund now. People invest in the fund, but they also invest in individually, right? In the companies that the fund may or may not invest in. So there's opportunities to do both. The reason I bring that up is because, so if you've invested in the fund, occasionally, the fund will invest in a company that you might not have, been particularly fond of, that you may not have just, done on your own. I would say that's sort of maybe a possible complaint, but it's that's part of diversification, right? You can't just do all the stuff you're in love with, because it just, the numbers don't work.
and who knows, that might be one of the 8 out of the 250.
Exactly.
So,
exactly. And you don't know. You really don't. If we did, we'd all be making a lot more money. There wouldn't be that 50% failure rate if we knew for sure which ones weren't going to fail. The numbers would be different.
So I would say, if you're an angel investor and you've been doing it for 20 years and you have better than a 50% failure rate, or less failure rate,
less,
just keep doing what you're doing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You're doing it right. Yeah.
Awesome.
Exactly.
Awesome. And then maybe just in the last couple of minutes here, you can just walk us through what is the process of becoming a member of Tech Coast Angels and joining the group.
Sure. We have 5 different chapters. I'm the president of the Orange County chapter. I think the process is pretty much the same for all the different groups, but just to be clear about that. So you can go to our website. There's a membership application there, and that sort of starts off the process. We do interview people. You have to be an accredited investor. We do have you talk to different members, and if you know a member who can sort of give some perspective on you, that helps a lot. And then there's an approval process. So every new member gets voted on by the existing membership. We're just looking at things like, do you have the bandwidth? Is your expertise complementary? Have you had what startup experience do you have, or what exit experience? What relevant experience do you have that would be a valuable add to the group? And And we also encourage people to, when you're deciding, whether this would be a good fit for you or not, just come to one of our screenings, reach out to me or to you or, anyone who's a member, and just, say, I'd like to experience what it is, what it's all about first, before deciding to join. And you can come to one of our screenings as a guest. I really recommend, starting that way. That way you get to, see what it's like and peek under the hood and meet some of the members, the existing members. So that's a really great way to start out.
Yeah, I think that makes a ton of sense. And I know there are like usually quarterly happy hours or social
Mhm.
gatherings. That may also be a good way. I know those are usually fun and nice to see as well. So,
Yeah. Yep.
okay. Well, hey, Lisa, this has been awesome. Any last thoughts on the topic?
Join up. It's a lot of fun. You get to meet a lot of great people, and it's like being on Shark Tank, except we're nicer, and it's
There
more
we go.
fun.
I like that. I like that. Awesome. Shark Tank, but nicer. All right,
Yeah.
guys. Well, thank you everybody for tuning into this episode. Hopefully, this has been valuable. If you're considering joining an angel group, hopefully this will give you some food for thought. And we'll see you all next time. Take care. Bye bye.
Bye.